Hello, Macarena. Can you tell us what do you do and how did you become interested in being a responsible consumer?
Of course. Hi, Daniel. I studied sociology because I always was interested in understanding how we work together as a society, our history, and especially on how we can have a better future together. And today I work in an international organization that works on different projects that promote innovation in education, actually, and always have been good to questioning things and just I think that maybe just a little bit more like an year ago, I start to more constantly worry about these things, about my consumption, learn the where come to the impact of our actions, and maybe start to questioning the decision that we make day after day.
Yes, I also consider this very important. And as I know you a little bit more, I wanted to interview you so you can tell us a bit more of how you're doing this. So another question is, what is a sustainable lifestyle for you, and what should consumers worry about?
Yeah, I think that for me at least, having a sustainable lifestyles mean doing everything is possible for me to be more aware of these decisions uh, about how we buy and stay more connected with the origin of and the impact of every choice that we make is about the planet finally, and it's not always easy. In fact, it's quite difficult because we have a lifestyle that is based on efficiency and productivity, and we live in a hurry all the time, and it seems like we always lack of time, and which is why we are most of our decisions of based of conveniency of the moment without thinking in the damages or consequences of that decisions at all. So for example, uh, we want to try to avoid washing dishes in a birthday party when often buy disposable plastic dishes, right? Like the typical that is made from plastic and we use for, I don't know, 1 hour maybe.
Yeah, and they're very cheap.
Yes, are very cheap and looks like a great opportunity because we going to use it and dispose. But actually, if you think what had to happen to that product came to your hands is a very long way. Uh, we have to build it. We have to create this plastic, and that is another thing. The plastic. What is plastic? We make the plastic. Plastic is a very new material that we create, like human beings create the plastic, doesn't exist in the nature. And it's crazy because it's the most durable and versatile and unique and incredible material that we use like for 5 minutes, and that's all. So it's crazy for me to think that, of course, it's a cheap and maybe convenience decision, but in the long way, it's not a very good decision for the environment because that plastic is going to be years and years and maybe decades in our planet. So maybe, yeah, it's a good choice in that moment, but in the long term, it's not. So for me, it's trying to be more aware of the small decisions that is going to be a difference, maybe not today or tomorrow, but maybe for our sons and grandsons, it's going to completely change the way that they live in the planet.
Exactly. Good. You know, one thing that the students are learning is that the UN has a framework, a 10-year framework that implies several targets, like reducing waste generation, reducing plastic, of course, and having global food waste by 2030. So, well, in my opinion, this is a very challenging thing, although I think that we can do it. But I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion? Do you think is this possible?
Of course, it's possible, but we have to must accelerate the pace because we are doing things. Actually, sometimes we believe that one person doing one thing is nothing, is very small, but actually makes a lot of difference. And not only with the waste that it stops producing, but also with all the examples and an influence that creates another people on their family, on their environment, and their friends. So one person can do the difference. Sometimes we underestimate the power of that. Think, for example, in Greta Thunberg. She's a young woman with only 14 years. She started to make this question to their family and their friends. And once a week, she decides that don't going to go to school and go to the congressman of their country and just protest and stay there asking for the politicians that think and start to talking and take action about the climate change. So yeah, in that point is just one person, one girl of 14 years, and now she start a completely revolution. It's a global movement, Fridays for Future, right? And there is more than 1 million persons all over the world talking about these things, going to the protests in different cities every Friday. And that is amazing, and start with the action of only one person. So for me, yeah, we can completely change the future, but we have to do it. Just do it. And start with a small action and go bigger.
Good. Excellent. Well, so far we have talked about what can we do, right, as consumers, right? But also another point that is difficult to sometimes discuss is the role of companies, right?
Yeah.
So one of the targets that the UN has is related to that, and the question is, do you think companies in Chile are willing to adopt sustainable practices and sustainable reporting, or is this only possible if we oblige them by law?
I think that more and more companies are implementing sustainable practices, and that is fantastic. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, nothing this was an issue. It's like we start to this conversation, and it's going to keep going. But I think that unfortunately it's necessary to make laws about it, force these companies to do more, because they are not have this responsibility now. It cannot be only for our goodwill. It's like I don't know. I think that it's essential that laws force it to do more. Starting with the carbon emissions, were right, like the way that these companies make the things that we buy. For example, I don't know if you know, but recently in Chile, we approved this REP law that makes the companies responsible to recycling like 60% of everything that they made, like packaging, for example.
Right.
Today in Chile, we think that, okay, everybody recycles, right? But it's actually responsibility from the companies that make these products that have the possibility to recycle. So today we have only the 12% of the products that maybe can be recyclable. In 10 years, this law forced to the companies to make the 60% of everything that they made recyclable. So it's a very good news, but probably not going to happen if there is a law that made us do. So yeah, it's a great advance, but I think that is too slow. But I think that maybe there is a third option in all this thing about forcing them, and it's about us. We can do a difference choosing companies that actually are worried about these things, like the process that they use to make their products, the way they return to the community that impacts in their production. So I think that we can maybe just stop to buying this product or prefer other brands that cares about things like environmental, using returnable packaging, or promoting bulk purchases. I think there is a lot of great companies that are worried about this, and it's really simple actually. If I stop to buy a company that, I don't know, testing in animals, for example, is another way to say it. I care about this. Maybe you can stop doing it and find another way and be more ecological. And I'm going to go back to buy to your products. But now I know I'm not going to keep buying this. So that is simple. It's not expensive, and we can do it every day.
Right. So it's a very good thing that we as consumers take better decisions, right? That's something that maybe it's not taught at schools. So my last question is now related to the schools. Like, what can schools do as communities to promote a universal understanding of sustainable lifestyles? What do you think?
Well, it's a very good question, because I think that the most important thing right now is to keep talking about these things. It's like share the information that we have. The internet is wonderful, it's a powerful tool, but sometimes I feel like there is a lot going on. It's a lot of information, and sometimes all this climate change issue can be overwhelming, right? And if we look all the information together and explain it each other, and we try to understand together and all about it, and we take action together, everything is going to be easier. I think that is the major thing. But secondly, is to continue learning. It's not just a finish line and you know everything that you need to know about to be a good consumer. You have to keep learning and keep trying. And remember the thing, I think that everybody in school learned the 3 R's of recycling. Everybody's studying and learning these things when we are little in school. And it's actually 3 years, and that time is reduce, reuse, and recycle. And these 3 R's are actually have like 15 years ago, so we have new ones now.
Oh, really?
Added. Yeah, we added a few ones, and my 2 favorite actually are reflect and resist. Reflect because living in a sustainable way implies constantly questioning yourself, thinking about this path that we talk about it, where things came from until I reach my hands, and after what's going to happen with them, and how long going to stay in the planet after that I use it, and keep reflecting in these kind of things, thinking what else I can do. And secondly, resisting, because every effort, however smaller or bigger are, actually it's difficult in the beginning. Always is difficult in the beginning. So it's not easy to start to go against the current and hold on, because every effort counts. After all, is the future of the only home that all have. The only place that we all share, and only have one Earth. So we have to resist. Every effort counts, and trying to every day do a little bit more. And I think that with that is enough.
Exactly. And we have to think that the Earth is not like a planet for someone else, it's for ourselves. So every little action that we take, it's for helping our own home. Earth, it's our home. So this is what we have to acknowledge.
We
Every
don't have any other Earth to live after we finish this one. We only have this. So guys, we have to resist and keep going and reflect in every little action that we can make a change is going to impact not only in this moment and for us in this packaging, for example, it's going to impact in the way that we see the consumption and the way that our family start thinking in what is going to buy now. It's like every small effort counts.
Well, I think I have learned something new. The kids also are learning something new too. So thank you very much for sharing your opinions, your thoughts, and teaching us something new. Thanks for this interview as well. And see you. Let's continue being responsible consumers.
Yeah, resist it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.